Hey guys, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, and I really don't have anything specific planned for a video today. I'm just out walking a piece of property and traveling the roads. This piece of property I have access to is a partnership. I get access to it, and for that I help keep an eye on the property for the landowner. And part of that is clearing some roads and making sure that if there's any trees or debris that's falling in the roads, I keep them cleaned up and keep it accessible to the landowner. And it's a good partnership, and you know, having a little bit of respect for other people's property and giving them a hand might afford you the ability to have some access to property that you wouldn't normally have access to. And those relationships aren't built overnight. You know, it takes time sometimes. But if you look around and befriend some of these people, you might be surprised what's available to you. So I'm just getting myself ready. Just a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm wearing military fatigues today, civilian gear, whatever. The ticks are terrible this year, the chiggers also. So I'm wearing military gear that is treated with bug guard. And I take those and tuck my pants down into my boots. Part of going out and enjoying the outdoors, staying bug free and healthy. And I would encourage you, if you're going to spend any time outdoors, to take care of yourself, and prevention is a big key to that. So I'm getting myself geared up, and while we're talking about that, you know, a lot of us get wrapped up in different types of clothing and gear. Some people like to do the reenacting thing, which is great, and I enjoy that. And some people like going old school, like the long hunter type thing. And some people use all modern gear. And there's a lot of discussion about what's the best gear out there, and this, that, and the other. And maybe we'll have a chance to get into some of that today. But the short answer is utilizing what you have. And I have access to this piece of property, but if you watch any of my videos, you'll see a lot of my videos are just shot in my backyard, because my theory is going out and practicing it where and when I have a chance. It takes a lot less of my time to practice things in my backyard, and I enjoy it. Gives me a chance to shoot some videos. Whether YouTube sponsors my YouTube channel with ads and I can make a few bucks off of that, or if I just put the information out there, it really doesn't matter to me. Of course, making a few dollars always helps, but the whole concept of me shooting videos, either how-tos or even events like today, is just to pass that knowledge along to other people and bring you along for the journey. And some people can't get out there anymore. They're stuck at home or whatever, and maybe they're off to school or different life circumstances, and this is a way for them to enjoy the outdoors too. So I hope you enjoyed today. Tried to get some video coming in here, some wildlife. It has been raining here. The biggest reason I'm out here today is we have had torrential downpours in eastern Virginia for the last week. We've had some flash flooding and some other issues, and I wanted to come out and take a look at the piece of property and the roads and some of the places where culvert pipes go under, and see if there's any trees down across the road and that type of thing that we can take care of. But while we're out today, maybe I'll get some shots of some wildlife. I wasn't successful. Jumped 2 deer coming in, but couldn't get the camera out in time. Of course, when I've got the camera on, I didn't see any deer, but we'll see how it goes the rest of the day. So hang with me and we'll get started and see what we can get into today. So it's nice out here. There's a lot less storm damage than what I thought. But you know what? Right here is a good example of something we'll take a look at right quick. Here we've got a tree that has broken off, and we've got a top of a tree laying across where the tree is broken off. That right there is a perfect example of where you do not want to go. That could go at any time. And that leads me to something that we should talk about. Whenever you go out like this, leaving a good game plan at home with someone who knows where you are is critical to your success in the outdoors if you were to get hurt or injured while you were out there. for them to know what time you're coming back in and where you are, so they know where to start looking for you. They can mean the difference between life and death. We saw that one, but you'd be surprised sometimes you get distracted, especially when you're out filming, and you can walk right into a hazard and not even realize it. I just saw another animal down there. They're definitely on the move this morning. That was a smaller critter, that wasn't a deer. But just caught a glimpse of him. I didn't really see what it was, but we'll leave him alone. They're enjoying finally getting out and enjoying some time without the rain also, and probably time for them to find something to eat. So I mentioned using bug juice or something. I wear these clothes. I like these military clothes that are treated with this bug guard, they call it. And I use promethium on a lot of my civilian clothes. And you can find that in a couple of different ways at different stores, and go by the directions on those for treating them. But I found them to be very effective for ticks and chiggers, and even some other things that I don't want biting and burrowing in on me. So something that you should strongly consider if you haven't. I don't like a lot of chemicals, but if I can have something that treats my clothes rather than something I'm spraying on my skin all the time, that's a preference for me, but it's a personal preference. You'll have to make up your own mind on how you want to protect yourself, but I would definitely encourage you to protect yourself somehow. You know, a lot of people don't have nearly as much problems with it as I do, but you spend any time at all out here in the woods, you're gonna want something at some point. Check this tree out. Then the rings on that thing looks almost like it had some fencing or something around it at one time. The tree grew around it, did some damage, but that's a really big tree. And you can tell by the marks they're planning to do a select cut timbering operation in this area here for long. I personally hate to see it come, but you know, that's part of the land management that the landowner has decided to do, and he's gracious enough to give me access to it, so whatever he wants to do with his land is more power to him. I just appreciate the opportunity to be out here. I really didn't see a whole lot while I was out there, but the sun's getting pretty high in the sky and it's time for some lunch. So I brought some Just Add Water pasta or rice, not very sure which one it is, and a can of canned chicken. So we're going to get that opened up and get it cooking and have a little bit of lunch. I'm just going to use a multi-tool can opener to open it up. It's a pretty simple thing, but if you've never done it before, it would be a great thing to practice at home before you get out here and realize something doesn't work right. So this is just another example of practicing at home before you come out here. Could build some confidence in what you're doing, and make sure you have a good tasting meal while you're out, rather than eating that stuff dry and raw. I know there's a lot of different ways to open a can, but you know what? That's what they make can openers for. So we're going to get this opened up right quick and get us some water on the boil. And I'm not going to build a fire today. It's just I want to do a lot more just hiking and scouting the area. I don't want to sit and babysit the fire. Everything's plenty wet around here. I don't think I'd have to worry about it going anywhere. And you know what? I'm going to save all of that juice. And we're just going to add that to our cup. And I'm just going to make this in a canteen cup and use a little alcohol stove to heat it up good. Pull this cap off. A good practice I like to do is just throw that right back into canteen bags so that we make sure we don't lose that. Go ahead and get this stove lit. Put my simmering cup right back in the stove too, because I'm not going to need that. Make sure it's good and hot, which it is. Put our ring on there before it gets too hot. Get our cup up here. Now I'm not going to make the whole packet. It calls for 2 cups of water and simmer this thing. So I'm going to eat half of it at most. So I'll just start out with a little less than a cup, and we'll add that chicken and juice in there too. That might be a little bit too much. That's all right. I'm thirsty anyhow. That ought to do it. Put that lid back down. Put that chicken juice in there. That'll add a lot of flavor to it. The wind's blowing so little today, such a little bit of breeze, I don't even think I'm going to need a windscreen. I'm going to just set that on top. Put the lid on it. The lid will definitely help speed the boiling process up. Let's see, get the other stove out of the bag, because I keep my lid on the very bottom. And we'll let that sit there and warm up while we get the rest of our stuff ready. I'll bring you back when it's done, or at least a little further in the cooking process. So while our lunch is cooking, just come over here to this little gum tree, cut us off a little green branch. Just a little piece out of here. And I'll show you what we're going to do to that to help our dinner situation for later here in just a minute. Now, our water is definitely at a rolling boil, so we'll set that off to the side. Just a little bit of this just add water. It is rice. Shake that up a little bit. The spices. Add a little bit of that in there. That's probably a little less than half. Give that a good stir. And then add our chicken. That's smelling good already. We'll make sure we save this can and tote that out with us so that we don't leave any trash around. Stir that around. We use the can to put our utensils in. Keep that clean. And set that lid back on, let it come back to a boil, then let it set for a couple minutes. Should be good to go. So while that's cooking, I'm going to just separate out a piece of bank line here. This is just regular number 36 tarred bank line. And I don't need all of that, I just need one strand out of it. So conservation of resources. I'll put the other 2 strands back in my pack. We'll have that for later. And remember that stick that I cut? We're just going to do a little bit of a stopper here. We'll fold that over. Put that down like that. Then I'll take the top and just wrap it. Wrapping this stick good and tight. This is a bit of an overkill, but it's what going out in the woods and practicing is all about. After that's wrapped around, I'll just put that through that loop where I started. Pull that through and then pull that down underneath that cordage. That'll lock it in and hold it in place. Alright, just like that. Take my knife and cut those ends off. Just like that. And then I'll split this stick and that'll become our clothespin to close up our lunch. The remaining of the lunch that we didn't use, that is. Alright, so we've got our stick split for our clothespin. We'll just take the rest of that right side, fold it over, take our little clothespin, place it over the top. That'll keep that closed up and we'll have it for next time. Alright, this is at a full boil. The rice is tender. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off now. So I'll take that off. Go ahead and cover it because it says let it set for a couple of minutes. So we'll be patient and do that. Go ahead and take our lid, pop that on top, put that alcohol stove up, set it off to the side, let it cool down and get ready for lunch. So I'll take what's left of that cordage, just wind it up, and then when I cut a small piece like that, I just drop it inside the tube of the number 36 and then put that back in my pack. Having a couple of corks to stick in the end of it are multi-purpose. They don't weigh much and that helps keep your spare pieces of cordage inside of that. And it looks like pasta is rice, that is. It's back done. Nice big chunks of chicken. That's a good, quick, well-flavored meal without a lot of effort. Mighty tasty, but still awfully hot. So I'm going to let that sit there and cool off a little bit more. And then we'll see what we can get into after lunch. Well, lunch is over and I don't know what it is about being outside, but the food, no matter how simple it is, just always seems to be better. And it wouldn't be right if we didn't add a little bit of water and have the backcountry soup to help clean the cup out. You know, you never know, you might get stuck out of here, and every little piece of nutrition that comes out of that cup would be that much more in your body and not on the ground. So I like to take and clean anything out of there that I can. Not a whole lot left in this one. But I try to clean my cup up the best that I can and then just go ahead and drink that. Alright, that adds a little bit of extra nutrition. And then the last thing that I do is just a few drops of water, and in the bottom of my canteen kit I keep a little scrubby pad, and I'm going to get in there and clean that out pretty good. No soap at this time, but just a little bit of elbow grease and water and get that cleaned up good. And the same with my lid. Get everything dried up, put away, and we'll go see what else we can get into today. So here's a resource I can use, and I need some good hardwood, and it's right here. That is a dead standing hickory, and I've got a couple of projects that I want to do. I need a tripod, I need to make a new pack frame. It's a couple of things I can do. This one is dead standing, so it's a perfect one for me to harvest. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. is going to work good. Plenty of wood there. We even come back and get that to add to the next campfire. Yes, indeed. We'll use every piece of this. This is good. Take a resource, try to use every piece of it you can. Let me tell you to look up when selecting your camp location. This place right here looks great. It's nice and clear under here, good shady, plenty of wood all the way around. But up in the tops of the canopy of the tree, look at that widowmaker sitting there. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. You see she's broke off right there, laying in top of that tree, and that small limbs all the way up to right there. That's an accident right there just waiting to happen. You would not want to camp underneath that. I'd even be cautious in trying to shake it down, because then you're creating the fall that could injure you. Man, check this out. This is a massive tree. Reckon anybody lives there? Let's see if anybody's home. Yeah, not today. They're probably out getting a little something to eat after being sheltered up for a while. There's several dead standing younger hickories in this area. I don't know what's killing them. I've got about all I can carry right now, so I'll just try to remember this. And right here, if we needed a resource for fat wood, this would be awesome. This tree's been down a long time, but if you look right here, you can tell that that right there is just going to be full of resin. I'll put this one in the memory bank and remember this area the next time I'm out here camping and need some fat wood and some good hardwood for camping that night. It's part of being out here, just finding resources and looking at what we can use, not just today but in the future. Got an old biplane flying around the area. It's pretty cool. Well, look guys, that's about it for today. Sun's starting to go down. Shadows are getting long. I gotta get back home. I'm gonna sit here and carve the bark off of these pieces of hickory. It's gonna make a nice baton. Was able to shoot a couple other videos while I was out here. I saw a really cool turtle, but the battery went dead on me, so I didn't get a shot of that. But anyway, that's the way it goes. Seems like the camera goes dead whenever you see something really cool. The colors on that thing were just bright and brilliant, and I'm seeing a lot of turtles out here in the area this year, and that's a good thing to see. They were a little scarce there for a little while, but it looks like them and the frogs are making a comeback, so that's a good thing. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it for a day that we really didn't have anything planned, and I was just bringing you along to enjoy a little bit of time outdoors with me. We got a couple things done, had a good lunch. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm going to sit here with the old Dirty by Design Scorpion, practice a little bit of whittling on a stick. So until next time, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, home of global safety and survival. God bless.